Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. Thank you very much for joining me. So I wanted to speak on the importance of following your excitement or going with your intuition, doing things that don't have any place in 3D reality and seeing the benefits of them. So I bounce back and forth as of recent to 3D to 5D, boing, 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 boing. Angry and unconditional love, and then maybe angry and unconditional love, then finances going from one end, and then finances going to the other end. And what I did as of recent is I said, I did this exercise. It was the 10 things that would be most exciting to you. If the training wheels were off, if anything that you could do, you could do, anything that you wanted to do, you could do, what would you do? So I started writing them down and I started reordering and sorting things. And there was this one task that seemingly was epic in the way of time, but in the 3D world, there wasn't a lot of opportunities presenting himself monetarily, but it seemed like something really important to do, and so I went ahead and did it. And what it was is to go through my database and to go through all my Facebook messages from the beginning of time. I think it went back down to like 2010 or something like that, and look at anybody I had communicated with energetically and see what, if anything, there was that wanted to share or do at this point in time. And I set a whole bunch of people to see face to face. In my idea world, I want to see all these people and or do a point of contact and say hello or what have you. And then people started appearing. And I just finished this yesterday. And I went through all my Facebook messages. I went through my database set, which has over 15,000 people in it, which is in the contact management system, which syncs to my phone. Yes, there is 15,000 people in my phone, in my Android contacts. Surprised my phone doesn't explode. But I went through, and a lot of those are from LinkedIn, and I have like 4,600 on Facebook. I have like 7-something thousand on LinkedIn. And then the rest were people that I have made points of contact, maybe not physically, but I've had conversations with or what have you. And I went through and distilled all that down over like a week span into the contact manager, and I set follow-ups and things like that. And I kind of like doing stuff like that. I tried it both ways, like letting it organically come and then like doing a little bit of pre-planning, and this was in between. There's no set times. It was just like, okay, you would be somebody I'd like to reconnect with energetically. And what happened today is I had a conversation with someone who came through the foundation. It's a very lovely person, and you know who you are. And I had a conversation with them today, and we're talking about different things, and I'm sharing my point of view, and that my videos have been helpful, and then her point of view, and our collective agreements, and all these types of things. And right after that conversation, and we talked about like grounding energy, and like she has a propensity and tendency to be able to charge items, not necessarily crystals, but physical objects, to have an inherent type of outcome, like playful energy or sexual energy or money, these types of ideas. And she's been playing with these ideas to see how they're going to fan out. And today I had something, a keychain that I've had since I was like 16 years old. And so I let her see it. I sent some pictures, and she's been charging it. And shortly after that, I had accidentally called an old high school friend that I've been communicating with. There's a high school reunion coming up, and I've known him since elementary school. Nice guy. And I accidentally called him, so he called me back. He's like, "Oh no, I called you back, dude." And so I called him, and he wasn't busy. He was doing something, and he was, watching his crew do some stuff. So we had some time to talk, and it ended up being a conversation that escalated to the point where he was thinking about doing a certain type of business model, and I fit into it very nicely, and where it could be managed and all these. And it was basically, I won't betray the confidentiality of what it is, but it basically has to do with real estate and buying and selling. So with that said, by the end of our call, and we exchanged personal information, children and all these things that are going on, and parents and these types of things. And by the end, it's like, wow, we need to meet face to face and have a higher conversation on this topic to see what direction we might take. And that was just out of the blue, and it was through synchronicity, and that's more of a synchronous item. And that would not have been possible because I followed up with him based on other conversations that were from going through the database and following up with people and just rekindling different energies. And I went through all the messages like on Facebook, and I went through like the contacts in the database, and I was trying to feel what might be there as a branch of excitement. And I labeled them appropriately, like who would I want to energetically entwine with at this point in time. I don't know how or what or why. And this is a prime example of something ferreting out and vetting out in a more of a 5D reality by following your intuition and doing things that you're like, why the hell would I spend time doing that when now you can see a net result in 5D where it had no, you can see the consequences now of opportunities unfolding, but it would have been, it would have been impossible for the 3D rational human mind to know how that was going to be interconnected. So I think it's really important as an example to follow more of that intuition, and for as long as you're not going to not eat or anything like that, that you can follow more of those, and then more of synchronicity comes and more things that support you, and then more and more and more and more and more that you can get supported. Because I've been grinding against the 3D world quite a bit, and it hasn't been supporting me, and it's pissing me and the ego off. So I've been trying to shift as much as possible into more of a 5D reality, more 5D alignment, and I've had more bouts of unconditional love, and I've been using tools like this, the video I posted from, that was channeled through the YahYel from the hybrid children of this heart frequency, and I've kind of overused it a little bit, so I was kind of angry all day yesterday, because it's really bringing up these 3D types of things. Like anger can exist in 5D, so it's bringing up these types of things, and they need to vet out, and sometimes they just need to follow their course. So be angry and be pissed off for a while, and then let it pass and figure it out and work through it while you're angry, and see how it's of service to you, which is basically what I did. Why am I angry? And why am I upset when I know I've done this to myself as an immortal being in a timeless reality who has come to play a great game with a whole bunch of his friends and chose to forget? And now that I'm here and recognizing that I am immortal, and that in relation to the concept of time, you always will exist and you always have existed, then the logic vets out that quantum science, law of attraction, all these things are interconnected, and that it is you that are down the rabbit hole, and the thing that's doing everything. It's not this ambiguous thing or God doing something to you. You are God manifest and crystallized into a unique individuated soul having this experience, because there's no way God as all that is could have a unique individuated experience. You are here as the forerunner in physical reality to be able to feed back those experiences to all that is. Whatever label you want to put on all that is, it still is all that is, and it's a label within existence. So it doesn't mind. Call it whatever you want. If you want to say, hey, Roy, whatever it happens to be, God, Yahweh, higher power, organic connection between all the living things, it is still what it is, and it is you. And recognizing that is recognizing that all things are you. Rocks, the other individuated souls that you interact with, and then eventually it becomes extremely hard to be angry at anyone, and you just let go, and you can be a happy camper with everybody else on the earth. Now, how long is that going to take? Hard to say, but we are at the pivot and the mass effect. Ooh, get all choked up on that idea. We are at the pivot and the mass effect of this idea. Things are coming to the forefront that will globally change consciousness and more solidify this idea. There'll be lots of things to work on, boys and girls, lots of things to vet out, but there's going to be a moment this year that will change the landscape of humanity. So look forward to that. I don't even know exactly what that is. I have an idea. Ooh, spoilers. But it is coming, and it feels like it's extremely near. And the one thing I had a conversation on today is that it feels like these bouts of unconditional love are going to soon become permanent. And the recognition of spirit and who and what I am won't be bouncing back and forth. It will be anchored in there. And that kind of frightens me a little bit in days of past. And it's because it's such an overwhelming feeling that now the last time I had it, I could stay with it. and it wasn't frightening, and it could stay longer. So I'm getting the tendency to feel that it's going to lock in soon, and it's just going to be there. It's like there's no way to get rid of it. It's there, and that is the course in reality and the parallel realities you're going to experience. And be a way shower, and be a holder of light as an anchor to make it easier for others. Thank you very much for joining me, Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation, coaching life, business, and spiritual, and also retreats. Don't forget retreats, boys and girls. Yay! Now, if you do like this video, please do like, subscribe, and share. Especially subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 viewers so that I can actually do some other cool things. YouTube unlocks some special features at 1,000 viewers. And if you are interested in these types of materials, my websites are down below. There's tons of different channeling websites down below, things that I'm speaking on now. So find something that energetically speaks to you and go check it out. So thank you very much for joining me. Remember and breathe in that you are an immortal being. I am an aspect of you as you are an aspect of me and all that is. Just simply be in recognition of that. And more and more and more consciously will be aware of more things that would be quite interesting. So thank you very much for joining me.